All right. Well, what we did last time was people put their names in the chat. So if you put your name, the town that you live in, and especially if you're new, you haven't been, that you didn't come to the last meeting, put that in the chat for me and what brought you here tonight. That would be great. So give us a chance to kind of get to know each other a little bit.
Oh boy, here we go.
Here we go.
Good
It's
luck.
gonna be fun. All right. Yeah, Mark, we might need music next time, huh? We'll have to come up with some good eco songs. Anybody know a good eco song?
Honestly, first thoughts, Joan Baez might be good.
I was thinking the same thing.
Awesome.
What
Where do
was the
I
name of the
push to
song? I
send
didn't
it?
hear it.
Not a song, just my mind goes straight to Joan Baez, but I can't
Yeah.
think of which ones.
Somebody should
Put up a
Google a
parking
song,
lot.
a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joni Mitchell. Say,
Yeah.
Frank, what were you saying? Frank, did you say
I'm saying,
something?
how do I send it?
Just click your enter button after you type.
After I type, enter,
There you go. Winmore, new guy. Got it.
my God.
Technology, you're going to be an expert at this.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to
doubt
have
it.
you host next time. All right, well, I see some new faces. That's nice. And if you, you know, want to be seen, that's great. Hi, Ellen. Danette, I don't think I met you before. Right, this is your first meeting with us? We only had one other one. Okay, welcome, welcome.
Yep, first one.
Anna, I think this is your first meeting, is that right? Of this working group? Yeah, you're muted, so you're welcome to come off mute. Hi, Ella, good to see you. Catherine.
Sorry.
Nice, very nice, okay. I am going.
Hey, Mark, we're outnumbered.
I'm here.
There's three of you, that's okay, you know.
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
Don't
Who is that dude?
Visually, there's three of
I'm
you.
with you, Frank.
So, you don't
I know
for
that's not
sure.
Anna.
That's Anna's dad, Rich.
Oh, hi, Anna's dad.
I'm
We need you.
just Anna's mom. That's all.
No,
I am.
Mark and I
Okay.
need Anna's dad.
Awesome. This is great. Well,
It's
it's 5
family
after.
affair here.
I love it, the whole family. This is super. So if you haven't put that information in the chat, go right ahead. Your name, where you live, what brought you here. And if this is your first meeting, let me know. We're going to do quick introductions. And I like to keep the meetings moving along. So typically I'll let people straggle in, but we'll usually always start at precisely at 5 after, just to respect people's time. So let me introduce myself. My name is Stout. I live in Winmore. I'm originally from the heartland of Southwest Ohio. And I grew up working class. My dad worked for a big factory, and back then you could actually afford to raise a family working at a union job. So I have that union job background with my dad's experience. Then I moved out here, so I've lived in Ohio about half my life and half my life here. And I've been an organizer and activist for many, many years. I'm also a peer counseling trainer and educator, and I'm, like I said, one of the co-chairs of Progressive Mako. So super excited to have you all here. So those of you who are here for the first time, if you could wave your hands and I'll just call on people. Okay. How about you, Ella? Would you go first and just introduce yourself? Give us a little background about what brought you here tonight.
Yeah, hi, my name's Ella. Um, uh, my school put out an opportunity to volunteer for Progressive Monco, and I read about it, and it seemed like a really fun opportunity that I'd love to get involved with. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome, that's so great. Great to meet you. I'm sorry I missed that interview with you. So super to see you. All right, wave your hands again. You're new. Catherine, you want to go?
Sure. Hi, guys. I'm Catherine. You can also call me Katie. I was raised in Lansdale. I moved back about a year ago at the start of the pandemic, and that kind of stymied getting involved. But I've been involved. I've cared about the environment for such a long time. My perspective is that I'm a scientist. I'm actually changing from neuroscience to plant science to try and understand the impact of climate change on plants, and specifically how we can use like our relationship with plants to improve community resilience, how important they are to people and our society. So that's kind of my perspective. I'm really looking forward to learning about how to be a good organizer, because that's something that I haven't had a lot of direct experience with. I'm really excited.
Great, well, welcome, welcome. Okay, new people, wave your hands again so I can see you. Anna, do you want to go?
I am Anna, and I'm with my parents, and
Can't quite hear
live in,
you.
Abington.
Can't quite hear you.
Sorry, my
That's
name's
okay.
Anna. I'm with my parents, and I just want to learn more and get more involved in helping the environment.
Awesome, welcome. Are you a student, Anna?
Yeah, I'm a junior in high school.
Great. Ella, I'm sorry, are you also a student?
Yes, I am. I'm a junior too.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
Oh,
Danette, I think you said you were new this time around. You want to go? You're muted.
Oh, hello, hi. Yes, you can call me Danny. It's easier than Danette. But I've been involved with, well, first of all, I'm a retired educator. And in my retirement, I'm really enjoying getting involved in things that are near and dear to my heart. And certainly the environment is one of them. So I've been involved with the social justice group within focusing on environment, and also with Penn Environment with their, issues on renewable energy and all of that. I find it, very, very important. And I'm really grateful that we now have a new administration that is focusing on that. Amen.
Yeah.
That's all I need
Awesome.
to say.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, Jackson, you want to just say hi and what brought you here?
Yeah, I'm a student as well. I'm going to be graduating a four-year college soon, and I got involved in politics in 2016 when Trump got elected, but never really knew how to take actions. Really didn't know to like get involved with my local group. So leading up to this past 2020 election, I did that, and environmental speaking, the number one issue, like out of any political issue. And likewise, I'm happy that the new administration is actually doing something about it. But I understand that it's important to continue to push, and I don't think Joe Biden is doing enough or will do enough unless he's pushed. So I want to contribute in any way that I can, and I don't necessarily know how to contribute, but that's why I'm
That's
here.
okay.
So.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so we'll keep moving along. I'm so glad to see you again, Jackson. So thank you. This is, we're learning together, no matter where you are in the scheme of how long you've been organizing or if you're brand new. Adrian, did you want to go?
Sure. My name is Red. I helped to found the Coalition for Energy Transition, which is a collaborative organization among the environmental advisory committees of Abington, Cheltenham, and Jenkintown so far, although we'd really like to get some of you Springfield folks involved. And I just recently organized an online conference for State Representative Napoleon Nelson, which I can send you some of the information about. It was this past Friday, the 5th. The purpose of that was try to educate people and make policy issues very clear and transparent.
Great.
So how do we get to the point where community solar farms can sell energy back to the grid, for example, and one of a bunch of other policies.
Nicole, did you want to go?
Yes, it's wonderful to be here. Hi, everybody. My name is Nicole Brunet. I don't live in Montgomery County. I live in Center City, Philly, but I have been working with Penn Environment for the past couple of years, doing a lot of on-the-ground organizing, and now I'm the Eastern Pennsylvania field organizer. So I'm really excited to connect with you guys and get to see what's going on in Montgomery County, and I'll talk more about my work later.
Awesome. Ellen, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Ellen Stevenson. I'm the leader of Social Justice Indivisible. I'm a committee person and I'm the vice chair of the Springfield Democrats. And I'm very happy to be here. Great group.
Good to see you as always, Ellen. Okay, let's see. Frank, you want to go?
Okay, I grew up in Western Pennsylvania in the coal country. In fact, right along the Monongahela River, and we saw a lot of, and I didn't know at the time, I was only 10 when we moved away from there. I've been a fly fisherman forever, and I've seen the effects of fracking, for instance. I mean, and it's always bothered me. My first job out of graduate school, I was a broadcast journalism, and I worked for the Department of Agriculture at the time and we were doing some stuff to provide good stuff for the environment. And I've always been interested in that. I'm very active in Rotary, the Rotary Club, and other organizations. And you know, when you get to be my age and you have a lot of time, and you say, hey, you better do something worthwhile here while you can. So when I heard about this from Sue, I said, you know, this might not be a bad idea. Here I am.
Great. Well, thank you. How about you, Mark? You want to introduce yourself? Mark's my helper tonight too, so we're going to be extra nice to Mark because they desperately need his help.
Thank you. I'm Mark Jones, live in Bridgeport. Part of the racial justice, I'm part of Progressive Monaco. I'm the working group lead for the racial justice wing, but I'm definitely interested in climate change. It's, you know, I'm not a scientist. I don't really understand everything outside of the fact that I learned a long time ago that trees were a big part of clean air and green space being a part of green air. And it doesn't look like we appreciate that. And I heard solar panels make your electric bills cheaper. So I'm trying to, I don't understand why we're just not pushing everybody there. Like, that's cost saving. So I'm here to learn more on how, you know, to make more of a dent in America where we move to greener pastures, safer climate. So.
Great. Oh, and Doug, I think, Doug, are you the last one? Last but not least.
I think so. My name's Doug Hunt, as it says on the screen. And I have a long and sordid history of working for various non-governmental organizations, as well as some large organizations, primarily in climate change and social justice activities. I was in fact the I was on the board of Pennsylvania Interfaith Power and Light, number of places. What?
Awesome, awesome. Anna, would you like your parents to, you know, fully participate, or would you like them to, like, you know, fade into the background? Because they could introduce themselves as well.
My name is Jill, and my husband is Richard. We've been in Montgomery County since right before Anna was born, so we've been here for quite a while. My roots are in the Philadelphia region, and my husband's from Los Angeles. And it's really our daughter that has made us much more aware of the issues around climate change, and we've made a lot of changes within our house. We haven't put in solar panels yet, but you know, if God forbid somebody pulls out tin foil or saran wrap when my daughter is around, it's bad. It's really bad. So we've done a lot of things that we're trying to make a difference, but we really want to learn how we can help our voice to share with others and create a better place for all of us and for future generations. Richard, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, so yeah, I come from a, as Joe mentioned, I was a West Coast transplant, but was originally born on the East Coast, so I'm back here now. And I actually have a background, I studied academically in economics, so I actually got exposed to environmental issues through the lens of economics. And I won't date myself, but back in the 80s, the information that was available at the time was interesting to start to look at that from that perspective. And so I have a really good understanding of how those things are intertwined, and people sometimes don't connect them. And our policies, I would like to see our policies reflect the economics of sustainability and social cost and things that we talk about in economics as being external cost externalities that are not really incorporated or factored into economic and tax models.
Yes.
So I want to learn more about sustainability. So
awesome.
And how we can in our household become more sustainable.
Great. Excellent. That is fantastic, because it wasn't until I took economics in college that things really started to make sense. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, Mark, could I have permission to share my screen? I want to just go over our community agreements. Okay. So some basic community agreements. Progressive Montco, we have progressive values. And so we are going to try to live those values in how we interact with each other. So basically what that means is, it sounds more complicated than it is. It's just we're going to treat each other with respect, but some of those will break down, and these will be posted for people if you ever need them on various places. But the whole idea is that we try to cultivate a culture of mutual exploration. We seek to learn and understand as much as we seek to educate and persuade. We have a culture of participation, and that means we're a peer organization run on people power. And what that means is be ready to learn, grow, volunteer, and pitch in. We speak authentically. We share our own perspective, experiences, and stories in a genuine manner. We listen respectfully. We listen to each other with attention and respect without interrupting, although I will say that's a struggle for me. I sometimes interrupt, but I'm working on it. Be prepared to be purposeful and brief. Don't feel the need to make the same point in different words that somebody else just made, and when you're speaking, just, get to your point and be succinct, but fill in as much as you need to. And if we're pressed for time, I may interrupt and just kind of move us on just because we have a lot to do. So it's not out of wanting to cut people off. It's just about trying to keep moving and respect each other's time. We seek alignment over domination, or over dominance, I mean. Alignment is shared intention, not definitive agreement. Agreement is not always possible as we're working together, but that's no excuse for poor manners. I grew up in the Midwest, you know, where the goal is to be caring and thoughtful to each other at the same time, you know, when we discuss things. So it's not about winning the debate, it's about trying to be understood and to understand others. We challenge oppressive behaviors. There are many ways that oppressive behaviors will show up in organizations. We work to overcome our biases and to interrupt oppressive behaviors. This work is everyone's responsibility and all of us will be challenged by it. We make amends when we make mistakes. We understand that mistakes can happen to anyone and they will happen to all of us, no matter our intentions. So we commit to making amends when we act out on others. And we also assume everyone's best intentions. Try to see things from another's perspective before passing judgment. Understand that what is said in the moment is likely not the person's full understanding or position on a subject. We are in this together, and the best way to succeed is by assuming the best intentions of all. We take responsibility for resolving conflicts as they arise. We must be able to speak directly to issues when they surface. When we strongly disagree or when there has been a mistake made, we can't sugarcoat hard truth, but we can develop the skills to be honest, direct, and respectful. This takes practice, so we have to be patient with each other. And that means you might have to cool off first before you can deal with something, but we try to resolve things in the spirit of, you know, togetherness. And if you ever have a hard time with anything that happens, reach out to one of the co-chairs or the chair. We're here to support you and try to resolve things in a timely manner. So that's, you know, the basics. We're not going to read that every time, but we didn't get to read it last time. And actually, community agreements are important. Any questions about those? What we're going to do tonight, let me just break down the agenda. We have a few people that are going to present their ideas for projects for the coming year for Progressive Montco's, this working group. And some of those are going to be in coalition with some other organizations. And so we're super excited to work together. And so after we go over the SMART goals, people are going to present their ideas. And then what we'll do for the rest of the time is we're going to go into breakout groups based on the proposals of our projects for the year. So you'll get to pick a working group to go into. And then in the working group, we're going to bang out some SMART goals. So it's a kind of a, you know, jump right in and get going. SMART goals are pretty simple. Has anyone not heard of SMART goals? Everybody knows what SMART goals are? Okay, Doug, good. You're honest. I didn't always know what they are. They came out of, you know, the corporate world, but they have been used in all kinds of organizations. And the examples that I have are, you know, kind of business oriented, but they're super simple, so you get the idea. All right, SMART goals. So when you go into your breakout rooms, you just want to, I'll put these SMART goals in the chat without those examples so that you can kind of look back at them. But as you're talking amongst yourselves, trying to figure out some goals for these projects for the year, just keep those in mind, because you can have really lofty goals, but you know, and I do have lofty goals, and we need those goals, but we want to be able to have actionable goals that we can see progress all along throughout the rest of the year. And at the end of the year, we want to be able to celebrate some things. So that seems pretty straightforward. Penn Environment has, and SJI have some recommendations for one of our projects. So I believe, Nicole, were you gonna discuss that? So we'll try to keep this to about
Yes,
each
I can
presentation
start.
to Great.
Or how long? Sorry.
About 5 minutes or so.
What time? 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
7:36.
I have a lot of things to share as well. So if we don't get to cover things, I can also just share some information and resources with folks. But I'm going to talk about RGGI, or the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. For folks who aren't familiar, RGGI is a bipartisan multi-state program that was started in 2008. It works by setting a cap on pollution from power plants and reducing those caps each year so that the air keeps getting cleaner and cleaner each year, while also requiring power plant owners to pay for their pollution, thus prodding them to cut their emissions even faster. And states that participate in this program can then invest the money raised for renewable energy projects and energy efficiency conservation, which can also eliminate more climate pollution even further. So we, in the first part of the year, there was a public comment period where the Pennsylvania Department of Energy Protection was hearing from the public about whether or not Pennsylvania should join this regional program. By the end of the comment period, which was January 14th of this year, hundreds of community leaders, thousands of Pennsylvania residents voiced their support for this program. So just a little bit about what we did and also with what you guys may have done. So we had almost 3,000 Penn environment activists, volunteers, and members who joined more than 10,000 residents across the state to submit comments in support of PA joining RGGI. Penn Environment recruited more than 280 local elected officials, environmental and community groups, faith leaders, public health experts, business owners, and community leaders that actually represented every single congressional district across the state. We also worked with more than 30 state legislators, 60 local elected officials to submit their own comments, and 65 of our members and volunteers, some of you on this call, joined more than 400 Pennsylvanians to testify at the 10 virtual hearings held by the PADEP. And of those, nearly 95% of the speakers testified in support of the program. Joining RGGI is really the first step that Pennsylvania can do to support reducing climate pollution. And RGGI is expected to reduce Pennsylvania's carbon footprint by over 188 million tons in the first decade alone. And I think we owe it to ourselves and future generations to join this program and get ourselves started to do more to reduce our climate impact. Now, all of that is awesome and great news, but this is not actually surprising. Though we have a majority of Pennsylvanians who support this program, there is still opposition mounting from pro-fossil fuel members of the legislature. So Senator Jean Yaw, Senator Pittman, Senator Corman, and 4 other members of the Environmental Resources and Energy Committee addressed a letter to the Independent Regulatory Review Commission asking for legislative approval of RGGI because the comment period didn't fairly showcase public opinion. This is something I can share with you. So we released a statement in response to this, in opposition to this letter, but we need more people to show their support for this program in opposition to Senator Jean Yaw's letter. So I have a couple of different tactics that folks can do to voice their opinion on this issue. I have a letter to the editor guide. Letter to the editors is a great tactic to make sure that you get this opinion out to your local community. And it shows your state legislators that there is a majority of Pennsylvanians who support And then once those start to move forward, we'll need all hands on deck to email, call leaders, post on social media, write more letters so we can stop them. I have that information as well, but I wanted to pause there. I can share all these resources with you guys. I guess any questions if we have a couple minutes.
Yeah, thanks so much, Nicole. That's so great. We'll put together a resource handout, Nicole. If you want to send me that stuff, I can post it in our Slack. Any questions for Nicole? Okay. So as those tasks get handed out, we'll post them and people can just plug in, and we'll have breakout rooms where Nicole can go into more details. Great. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. Somebody had a question for Nicole.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick, just to keep moving along. Bottom line then is that this is an initiative that has to be approved by the state legislature, the Commonwealth.
It does not. So it's actually an executive action. Last year, Governor Wolf proposed it, and it just requires the Pennsylvania Department of Energy Protection to make it into an executive action. So what Gene Yaw's, Senator Yaw's letter would say is that he is asking that Reggie get legislative approval because he doesn't believe that there was enough public, the ability to get public support.
Okay, so basically at the legislature level, they're trying to preempt or prevent that executive action from happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Nicole, that's because there is some money involved that the legislature feels that they want to have some control over. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so. And then thinking about the energy, that the committee that it would be in, it is unlikely that we would see it maybe even come to a vote. Okay. I'm speculating, but.
Any other questions for Nicole? Okay, awesome. Well, that's great. That's going to be one of our breakout rooms. The next thing on the agenda as far as a project for this coming year is we have this internship program that Progressive Montco is very excited to be doing and working with students, local students in Montgomery County and the surrounding area. And so I was thinking it would be really awesome to support our young adults and young people with a youth climate council. We're not married to that name, of course, but what we want to do is create a space for our interns and any young adults and young people to be able to come together and self-determine what they want to work on under the umbrella. Progressive Montco is becoming a chapter of Pennsylvania Stands Up. And so we do have some resources to back a youth-led hub. Adrian, you mentioned the community solar. There's so many things that got talked about at the conference that you organized. Would you like to talk for 5 minutes about community solar, any of the projects that Representative Nelson, came out of that
I'll
conference?
cast that little, I'll cast the net a little wider than this, and I'll also call out Nicole Brunet, who attended the meeting of the joint Jenkintown and Cheltenham Environmental Advisory Committee meeting last Wednesday. There are a lot of legislations we have to look at. Unfortunately, many of the pieces of proposed legislation in the Pennsylvania State House are either incomplete or bad legislation. So we have to do things like have Pennsylvania join Reggie and stop Gene Yaw from trying to block our participation in Reggie before we get to community solar. In very simple terms, the way that small providers can sell solar energy back to the grid is not yet defined in Pennsylvania regulation. So the first thing we'd need to do would be to find somebody who was a policy expert and have that be further clarified so that it's economically beneficial for people to be able to either set up a small community solar field or individually be able to sell power back to the grid, or put a solar array on the top of a business building, etc. That's only one of many examples. Emily Puglisi from State Senator Art Haywood's office did a rundown of legislation. And before we go to a specific piece of legislation, one of the things we should do is go through that and prioritize it and see what the most promising environmental, particularly climate response legislation is for this coming legislative session.
Great. Well, would you be interested in kind of heading up a breakout room to talk about those things tonight? Sure.
I'm also waiting on decisions from Napoleon and some other environmental organizations who were affiliated with the conference. I will know more in a couple of days and would want to connect those people with folks from this evening's meeting.
Okay, well, why don't we do this? Why don't you reach out to me as the lead organizer? Let's have a talk about that when you get more information, and we'll figure out the best way to communicate it all. Do you want my email?
That's what I'll do. And
are you on our Slack channel? You can reach me there. I can send you my cell phone number.
That's fine. I will do both, and I'll also put my email address in the chat. And my apologies that I have to step off in a little while this evening, but I'll be in touch with everybody. Yes, thank you. I see it.
Okay, great. Excellent. Okay. Last time there were a lot of people that were interested in environmental justice as it relates to food insecurity, especially in neighborhoods where there's a higher percentage of poverty, and pockets of communities where there are food deserts. This is a really broad topic, so we're interested in basically the umbrella of agriculture as it relates to environmental justice, and that covers eliminating pesticides. It covers pesticide and herbicide policy. It covers land use easements for communities to build food security. And it also includes the ability for homeowners and property owners and business owners to be able to use their land any way they see fit as it relates to agriculture and rewilding, planting trees. You know, some communities have ordinances where you can't have a meadow. You can't build pollinator gardens that take up too much room, all these weird things. So this is a very broad umbrella, and there's lots of places where we want to create SMART goals to kind of break things down. There were people that were talking about food insecurity and wanting to support communities to be able to urban agriculture. So I know Katie is a scientist. She and I had a conversation about, you know, policy around this. So I'd like to have a breakout room group with those of us who really want to work on those things. I want to eliminate these pesticides that are really targeting bees and pollinators. This is something that is doable. We can do this in, I believe, in a year. There's been some positive things happening in New Jersey around this issue. So that's kind of one of the, it's a much broader topic with lots of little things that fit into that. And we'll talk more about it in the breakout room and come up with some goals that are, you know, tangible and actionable. Okay.
Yes,
So
I'm good with that.
okay, number one would be Reggie. Thank you, Nicole. You're demonstrating how to change your name. Thanks. Breakout room number 2 is going to be this Youth Climate Council, whatever the name's going to be. That's just kind of a descriptor. So if you want to do that work, put 2 in front of your name. And the third one will be this really broad umbrella of agricultural justice. Yeah, and then we'll come back together and we'll give a little report. So when you go into the room, each room have somebody take notes and then go around the room and make sure everybody gets a chance to talk so that one person isn't like totally talking all the time. So just share the time. We'll have a half an hour, so you got plenty of time. Any other questions? Cool. All right, Mark, are you ready? Close to ready? But if one person from each group or a couple of people would just say some of the ideas that you came up with, and just be fairly brief, like no more than a minute.
I think we definitely had a lot of ideas and are in like a process of working out like one specific idea. I think we're mostly talking about recruiting a lot of other youth to kind of help dictate like where we wanted to really go with this and what kind of topics we wanted to really focus on, just so they also like had input too. So yeah.
Cool. That sounds great. Jackson, did you want to, something you wanted to add?
Yeah, just real quick. Among the 3 of us, stop like reducing plastic use and like single-use plastics and plastic pollution is important to us. And yeah, like myself, I kind of have a goal of like recruiting a lot of people. We kind of think that was like one of the actionable goals of just recruiting like X amount of people by the end of the year to like be involved in this organization and other organizations. And then also I just want to mention like us being young and not very informed or experienced as we could be, education amongst ourselves and amongst people in the group seems to be an important dynamic for what we want to do.
Yeah, very cool to hear. Anna, anything you wanted to add?
Not really. Basically, like, I think a really good thing to use, especially since we're trying to appeal to youth, is social media and spreading awareness. But
yeah, excellent. Well, I love hearing this, and I think Ella, as an intern working with us, if you want to meet with me and come up with, we'll talk about what our resources are to back you. I love the ideas. Those are very actionable goals. So awesome. That is super. And anybody in the huge umbrella of agricultural justice want to talk? I've done a lot of talking. If any of you want to report out, have thoughts. If not, I can just share the ideas that we had. Okay. Well, we came up with, so a couple of the topics that seem to be really important to us that got mentioned more than once by some of us is this idea of food insecurity and food insecurity as it relates to environmental justice, agricultural justice, and poverty. So we came up with the first goal for us was find out what areas of Montgomery County are the most food insecure. and then figure out the next step. So that seemed to be like an important thing to determine. So that was cool. And then the second goal was marry that to what Montgomery County farmers need to get their food out there, and is there surplus food to tie into that. So we're going to reach out to some of the local community farms, and some of us have networks of people that we're going to reach out to. So that was really cool. Frank really is interested in a tree planting program locally, and Katie pointed out that with the Biden administration, there's this Citizens Climate Corps that's going to be planting trees. So some way of partnering with them was like a really great idea. And then there's so much more under this topic. The pesticide issue is something that I personally am going to work on and try to figure that out. So we'll talk more about that. Anybody have, Doug, did you want to say something? Or anybody from my group want to add to that? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well, we only have 7 minutes, so we're doing great. This was really awesome. I want to say a couple of things. First, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to come out. It's just showing up is the first step, so we really, really appreciate that. Based on our poll, the second Wednesday seems to be a good time for folks at this time period. That leads to how we work together. So if you have not joined our Slack channel, this is how we are going to work together on Slack in between meetings instead of using email. So let me send you the invitation to Slack. Here it is.
And if people are new to that program, I can help train people on how to use it. It's super simple. I've trained people on how to use it during the general election too. So if you guys need help with Slack, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so if you haven't joined Slack, I just put that invitation in the chat, and reach out to us. I put my phone number in here before. I'll put my phone number and my email again. I think everybody's got my email now. But yes, we're going to be doing trainings. And Jamie, if you want to help with that, that's awesome. Onboarding for Progressive Montco. The other thing I want to say is this concept, we just had this meeting, Mark and I and our steering committee, about power and what is power and how do you use power, and the type of, this conversation matters because what Progressive Montco is trying to do is create systemic change, county, state, and nationwide. And so how do you make change? You have to have power. And what is power? Organized people and organized money. So this is, you being here is part of the organized people. What people were talking about building youth to come and work together, that's organizing people. And we also need organized money. So if you haven't joined Progressive Montco, you can join as a dues paying member at, the sliding scale is $5 a year, or you could pay $20 a month. It just depends. Everybody has a different amount of resources. I pay $5 a month because I'm unemployed right now. But I'd be happy to pay more if I have more, and when I get money coming in, I will be paying more. So that's my little pitch about Progressive Montco. I'm going to put in the Slack. If you haven't joined us, I'm sorry, I'll put it in the chat. If you haven't joined Progressive Montco, I think that's the only way you can get our emails. But you can also go on here and become a dues paying member. So every little bit helps. So that's my little fundraising spiel. So I've done my duty. I can check that box off. I always like to end our meetings with appreciations, because if we don't appreciate ourselves and each other, we can get super burnout. We have to be able to take care of ourselves and each other. So this is how, one way that I remind us to do that is to just say some appreciation. So we'll go quickly around the room and just say something that you appreciated about our meeting tonight, something about the leadership, something about somebody in the group that you were a part of, something about your breakout, just anything that comes to mind that you're grateful or appreciative of. So let's start with Mark.
Hi, I am grateful that you for being here for the first time, right? And then I became super grateful when Jamie logged on later on because I learned about TerraCycle. Literally something I never knew about before today. So I'm grateful for that. Learn something new every day.
Put that in the chat too for anybody else who is interested.
So
and
Jamie,
I'm putting on Slack too. So.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, why don't you go then? And then after you go, just pick somebody and we'll popcorn.
I'll just say I am really grateful for the youth that's part of this group because I think that you guys are really going to be, you can see how us adults have really screwed things up and haven't really had our eye on the ball as much as we should have. And so, I just want to apologize for that, but also acknowledge that we're willing to look at it at this point in time and do something about it. And I'm really grateful that the youth is here. And so please, I encourage you to keep going and gather your friends and come up with really great ideas and we can all work together.
Awesome. And you want to
pick Jackson, somebody? Thanks for the
I'd like to echo what Jamie said about the young people involved. It's very inspirational, and I'm very grateful to see and hear that these young people care about what's going on in our world that much. That's great.
Awesome.
I'm very grateful to see that there are so many people who are interested in helping and working with those who do not have enough, and make sure that what they have is healthy.
Cool. One of the young people want to go next?
I'm really appreciative also for the TerraCycle link. I'm definitely going to be talking to my job about I looked up, they have latex and nitrile glove recycling, and we go through so many. So I'm going to be talking to my boss about that pretty soon. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. And they have zero waste boxes for almost everything, including masks now. So check that out. Yeah, it's really cool.
Very cool. Awesome. How about you, Ella? You want to go?
Yeah, I'm thankful to have the opportunity to talk to environmentally like-minded people through this.
Cool. How about you, Anna?
I'm just grateful to be here and meet people that are older that also care about the environment, because sometimes I think they don't know that there are people good out there.
Awesome. Jackson, you want to go?
Yeah, I have a crazy amount of gratitude for two things. One is just you, Sue, and like your energy. Like, I've only been here a little bit, and honestly, I almost didn't come tonight, but it was because of you and like your energy. And just like when I first got here, you're like, oh, like just the way you like greeted me. And I'm glad I came here tonight. And I'm also grateful being able to talk to, two other young people. And like, I just feel like we took like, even just the fact of like us meeting, talking to each other is like an important first step. So yeah, just glad I came. I'm glad we just took a little step forward, and I'm glad to like continue onward.
Oh, thank you. How about you, Rich? If you go, I think you went. Awesome. Well, oh, here he comes back. Rich, you want to go? I'll go. And
Okay, yes, I'm back here. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm thankful to Mark and Sue for organizing tonight and getting us together, and thankful to have a broad perspectives of people to contribute to the conversation and action.
yes. All right. Well, thank you again. I'm appreciative of all of you for showing up. I really appreciate Mark for being willing to come on and help tonight. That was really helpful to me. So I love seeing you all, and I can't wait to get together again. And we'll start, if you please join Slack. If you need help, reach out to me in an email, and I'll, Jamie and I can help teach you how to do that. And we'll be having conversations on our environmental justice channel. So once you join, I'll be able to connect you to the channel if you can't figure it out. All right, well, have a great night, everybody. We'll keep working together.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Thank you.
you.